The last film I reviewed was Rocky, a true classic film that just about everybody in the entire world should watch at least once. Fun fact, director John G. Avildsen also directed the first 3 Karate Kid movies. The first film was no masterpiece, but definitely a fun film to watch. Many people would compare this film to Rocky, especially since that's what Avildsen was going for. Then we got Karate Kid Part 2, which continued the story rather than simply being a rehash of its predecessor. While it was not as good as the first film, you could still find some good enjoyment from it. But then the enjoyment slows down with Karate Kid Part 3. I wonder why that is. If you remember the opening of the second film, Kreese's violent reaction to Johnny's loss in the tournament cost him his students and his business is going under. He calls on his friend and founder of Cobra Kai, Terry Silver, to get revenge on Daniel and Miyagi for their victory and bring Cobra Kai back to life. However, Daniel's decided not to defend his title for the upcoming All-Valley Karate Tournament and work with Miyagi in opening a bonsai shop. But Daniel soon gets forced into signing up for the tournament by Silver's henchmen, and Miyagi refuses to train him, so Silver does the training for him and makes him a frustrated, aggressive jerk, alienating him from Miyagi and new female lead, Jessica. Yeah, this film rehashes plot elements from the first film. That's one of the major faults. I mean, the separation from his master is one of the only original things to come from this film in terms of the story itself. But think about it, the bullies wouldn't leave Daniel alone unless he were to compete in the tournament and win. He's also in a relationship with a young lady. Well, it's more of a friend relationship. She already has a boyfriend, but still, doesn't all this sound familiar? Not only does it rehash some of the first film, it also takes elements from the second film with the way too evil villain. When the bonsai shop gets invaded just so the bad guys can force Daniel to sign up for the tournament, they destroy some of the plants while stealing others. And when he and Jessica are down on the cliffs receiving the kata plant to replace the broken ones, their climbing ropes are pulled back up, with them stuck unless Daniel were to sign. And he had to do so before the tide came in. Looking at this shot, this could have been avoided. Doesn't that spot to the right of them look open so they can make their escape? Wouldn't be all that easy, but that alternative exists, doesn't it? Did I forget to mention that they don't stop harassing him until he signs? Silver even spreads the false word that Kreese died from a heart attack just to get Daniel to submit. Considering how Kreese acts later in the franchise, if the character actually does die from a heart attack, then that certainly wouldn't be a bad thing. What else do you want me to say about this movie other than a bunch of elements that this film rehashes from its 2 predecessors? All I can really describe is that the villains are annoying, the new romance doesn't work well, it has decent action scenes, but the film overall is not a good experience. The sad part is that this isn't even the worst of the Karate Kid. The 4th film, titled The Next Karate Kid, is a much worse experience and shouldn't even be part of the canon. Thankfully, the series Cobra Kai keeps the franchise running strong and actually succeeds where the last 2 features failed. However, the first 3 movies are canon to Cobra Kai, so in order to understand the events of this series, you're going to need to watch all of those movies, so good luck getting through number 3.